Good morning students. Welcome to the second class of chapter Comparing Quantities. Already you have learned about ratios. You know about equivalent fractions. Today we will define equivalent ratios and we will define proportion. Let us recap whatever we have learned in the previous class. Here the question is, what is the ratio of red counters to blue counters? How many red counters are there here? 9 red counters are there and 3 blue red counters are there. The ratio between red and blue is 9:3. We cannot leave the ratio like that. We have to simplify and we have to reduce to the lowest term. Then 3:1 is the required ratio of red counters to blue counters. Ratio is the comparing quantity. Ratio is the numerical way to express the comparing quantity. Let me repeat. Ratio is the numerical way to express the comparing quantity. And one more point you have to note down. While writing the ratio, the order is very important. When you have to prepare the cookies, you need 3 cups of flour and 2 cups of milk. The standard ratio is 3:2. If you write 2:3, it means that 2 cups flour you are using and 3 cups milk you are using. You will not get your required pastry or required cookies you will not get. So writing the order is very important while writing the ratio. You know to get equivalent fractions, right? It's very easy for you now. You have learned from 4th standard onwards. Now how you will get equivalent fraction for 2/7? That is by multiplying 2 you will get one equivalent fraction. 4 and 2 into 2 is 4 and 2 into 7 is 14. 2 into 7 is 14. 4/14 is one equivalent ratio for 2/7. You got the equivalent ratio by multiplying by 2, and here your fraction is 8/24. How you will get the equivalent fraction? 2/6. By dividing the numerator and denominator with the same number 4, you will get the equivalent fraction as 2/6. So when you have to get the equivalent fractions, either you have to multiply or to divide by the same number to the numerator and denominator of the fraction. Same rule applies to get the equivalent ratios also, because while you can write ratios as fractions. Now 2/1 is written as 2/1 ratio is written as 2/1. The first term you have to write as numerator and denominator as the second term. Yeah, 2/1 you can write 2/1. 2:1 can be written as 2/1. Now the corresponding equivalent ratio is, there are 2 stars and 1 red counter here. There are 2 stars and 1 red counter here, and there are 4 stars and 2 red counters here. It can be written as 4 divided by 2, right? 4 by 2 is 4/2 fraction is the equivalent fraction for 2/1, and 6/3 is the equivalent fraction for 2/1. You will get 6/3 by multiplying by 3 to the numerator and denominator of the fraction. Similar way you can generate equivalent ratios by multiplying or dividing with the same number to the 2 terms of the ratio. In a ratio there are 2 terms, first term and second term. You can get the equivalent ratio by multiplying with the same number, that is 3 into 5, it is 15 here. 4 into 5, it is 20 here. 15:20 is the equivalent ratio for 3:4. Now when the ratio is given as 12:8, when you divide by 2 to the first term, you will get the 6 as the first term of the second ratio. When you divide by 2 to the second term of the ratio. 2 4s are 8. You will get the 4 as the second term of the equivalent ratio. So, like fractions, you can generate equivalent ratios either by multiplying or dividing by the same number to the two terms of the ratios. Hope you are clear in getting the equivalent ratios. Pause the video and get the ratios here, equivalent ratios for girls now. Yeah, number of here the ratio is given as 3:5. Girls ratio 1 ratio is given. It is girls. You have to get the equivalent ratios for these two terms. 6 is boys first term, next equivalent to 3 into 2, it is 6. Similarly 5 into 2, it is 10. Get the equivalent ratio for the third ratio, that is boys term is 9. You have to get girls term. Get the term by yourself. You know now two equivalent fractions. The fractions, first fraction is 1 by 5 and the second fraction is 2 by 10. 1 by 5 is equal to 2 by 10. These are two equivalent fractions. Let me write the fractions as ratios now. The first fraction is written as 1:5. So there is equal sign in the middle. Second fraction is written as 2:10. Yeah, these ratios are equal. Equality of two ratios is known as proportion. Equality of two ratios is known as proportion. Let me generalize. This example is with the numbers, so it's very easy to understand. So let me write A. We don't know the value of, we can assign any value for A, we can assign any value for B. Let me use the generalized term, that is variable. A by B is a fraction and C by D is a fraction. These two fractions are equal. So let me write A is to B. A by B is written as A is to B and it is equal C is to D. C by D is written as C is to D. So that means A is to B is equal to C is to B. C is to D. Equality of two ratios is known as proportion. Let me repeat. A proportion is the equation that shows two equivalent ratios. A proportion is an equality of ratios. You should know. You know now what is proportion, but you should know the parts of proportion. There are two ratios. You know two terms in one ratio. 3:6, you know the terms. That is first term. Second term, 6 is the second term. Here in this ratio, 1 is considered as the third term and 2 is considered as the fourth term. Now, when you multiply 6 into 1, it is equal to, when you multiply 6 into 1, that is 6 into 1 equals 6, right? When you multiply 3 into 2, it is also 6. That means product of means equals product of extremes. Here, these first term and fourth term are on the extreme part of these four terms, right? They are known as extremes. These two are second term and first term, third term are known as means. Product of means is equal to product of extremes. That is the meaning of proportion. The property we will, let me repeat the property of proportion once again. That is the cross product, that is known as a cross product property. Product of means is equal to product of extremes is the cross product, is known as the cross product property of proportion. When the ratios are in proportion, that means A is to B equals C is to D. Here A is to B is written as A by B. Here A is to B is written as A by B. That is, ratio is written in terms of fraction. C is to D is written as C by D. When they are written in fraction, you know already, when you cross multiply the terms, the cross product are equal. That means here A into D is equal to B into C. This is known as the property of proportion, where you will use this property of the proportion to solve such sums, to solve the unknown quantity. When 3 by 5 is equal to 60 by 6x, you can find out the value of x by using the cross product property. Multiply, cross multiply, then you will get one equation. Once you get the equation, you know how to solve the equation by simple equation concept. That's how you can solve many sums. Now it is your turn. You know proportion now. You know the property of the proportion. It is property of the proportion where it is used. Property of the proportion is used to solve the sums. So let us see how to solve the sum by using the property of proportion. The ratio of boys to girls in a class is 3 to 7. That means it is the ratio of boys. The rectangle box, red rectangle box, 3 is to 7. Right. Now there are how many boys are there? 12 boys are there in this boys total in the class. But you have to find out how many girls are there. You don't know the number. 3 by 7, that is the ratio of boys to girls, 3 by 7. It is here equal to the number of, there are 12 boys in the class. We don't know the number of girls. Let us assign X for the number of girls. But they are in equivalent ratio. So they are in proportion. We have to find out the value of X here. By cross multiplying, it is 3x equals 84. Right. You can find out x by dividing 84 by 3. Transposing 3 to the other side, you will get the value of x. Thereby you will get the number of girls. That's how you should use the property of the proportion to solve the sums. Let us read the first question. If x is to 8, these 4 dots are used to represent the proportion. 3x is to 18 is proportion with 5 is to 3. Find the value of x. Here we know the property. If the ratios are in proportion, product of extremes is equal to product of means. Product of means equals to product of extremes. Product of means means 18 into 5 is equals to product of extremes. That means x into 3. I'll write it as 3x. Yeah, it is 90 equals 3x. X equals 30. 90 divided by 3 is 30. So x equals 30. Easily you will get the value. It's very easy question. Now we have to find out which ratio is greater. It is 2 is to 3 or 4 is to 7. You know to compare fractions. Ratio is written as fractions, 2 is to 3. But while writing the fraction, you should be a little bit careful to write the first term as numerator. It is 4 is to 7 equals 4 by 7. So how to compare the fractions? You know to compare the fractions. Denominators are different. So you have to make the denominators the same. It is 21. Let me write directly. 21. 14 by 21. And here 21. It is 12. Which is greater? It is great. 14 by 21 is greater. So you have to write the answer. 2 is to 3. It is greater than 4 is to 7. Yeah. Read the next question. Two numbers are in the ratio 5 is to 6. If 8 is subtracted from each, the ratio becomes 4 is to 5. Find the numbers. You don't know the numbers, the ratio is given. That means the ratio is 5 is to 6. If the number is 50, one number is 50, another number is 60. If one number is 500, another number is 600. That is the meaning of ratio. So how to analyze the sum? So we don't know the numbers. So we will assign, let the required numbers be 5x and 6x. 5x and 6x. If 8 is subtracted from each, that means one number is 5x minus 8, another number is 6x minus 8. So the new ratio is 4 is to 5. How 4 is to 5 is written as fraction? To make the calculations easy, it is better if you write the ratio as fractions now. This ratio is 5x minus 8 is to 6x minus 8. I have written the ratio in terms of fraction only, that's all. The first number is, the ratio is 4. So let me write 4 by 5. Now you got one equation with variable, right? You know how to solve the equation using transposing rules. Let us cross multiply first to get the equation. 4 into 6x minus 8. So use the distributive property, 25x minus 40 equals 6 are 24, x minus 32. And now here 25x minus 24x is x. Take 40 to the other side, minus 32 plus 40. How much it is? It is 8, right? Use integer rules to find out the answer. You got the value as 8. You got the value as 8. Now required numbers are 5 into 40. 5 into 8, it is 40. 5x and 6x. 8 6 are 48. Required numbers are 48. Your required numbers are 40 and 48. Let us go to the next question. It's very simple question. A is to B equals 5 is to 8. A is to B equals 5 is to 8. I'll write in terms of fractions first, because we have to get A is to C, that is 5 divided by 8. Now B is to C, I'll write in terms of fraction, but the C term should be C term only while writing the fraction. In the fractional form, you should be a little bit more careful. The corresponding C term here, it is 25, it should be the denominator. Now when you will guess A is to C, what do you mean by A is to C? That is A by C you should get. When you will get A by C, when you multiply, that is equal to A by B is multiplied by B by C, you will get A by C, right? Because you can cancel B, you can cancel B, and thereby you will get A by C. So now you have to multiply the fractions. Instead of here, multiply the fractions. 5 into A by B is 5 by 8, right? 5 by 8. B by C is 18 by 25. 5 ones are, 5 fives are, 2 nines are, right? 9 by 36. It is once again 9 by 20. 9 by 20, that is A is to C equals 9 is to 20. A is to C equals 9 is to 20. That is the required answer. Yeah, now there are simple two self-assessment questions. You have to solve this sum immediately while watching the video. You have to pause the video and solve the sums, get the answer. What must be added to each term of the ratio 3 is to 5 so that the new ratio becomes 5 is to 6. You will assign x as the unknown term to be added. 3 plus x and 5 plus x are the two terms of the new ratio. The new ratio is given. Get the equation and solve for x, then you will get the term to be added. Here it is very simple straight question. The numbers are in proportion. You have to find the value of x. Apply the property of proportion and get the value of x. Thank you.